In the late 1800s, one man controlled nearly every drop of oil flowing through America. He wasn't a king, he wasn't a president, yet his power rivaled both. His name was John D. Rockefeller. To some, he was a genius entrepreneur who transformed a chaotic industry into a modern powerhouse. To others, he was the face of corporate greed, a monopolist who crushed competitors and accumulated unimaginable wealth. At the peak of his power, Rockefeller's company controlled around 90% of America's oil refining capacity. But before the fortune, before Standard Oil, and before becoming the richest man in modern history, there was simply a boy growing up in a struggling family. This is the story of how John D. Rockefeller rose from humble beginnings to build one of the most powerful monopolies the world has ever seen. John Davison Rockefeller was born on July 8, 1839 in Richford, New York. His childhood was anything but stable. His father, William Avery Rockefeller, was a traveling salesman who frequently disappeared for weeks or months, but salesman might be too generous a description. Many historians describe him as a con artist. Known as Big Bill, he sold questionable medicines and often reinvented himself wherever he traveled. He taught young John a lesson that would stay with him forever: trade dishes for platters. In other words, always make a profit. His mother, Eliza Rockefeller, was the complete opposite. Deeply religious, disciplined, and frugal, she managed the household while her husband wandered the country. The family often struggled financially despite Bill's schemes. Young John absorbed two very different influences. From his father, aggressive business instincts, negotiation skills, and opportunism. From his mother, self-discipline, patience, and relentless thrift. Together, these traits would shape one of history's most formidable businessmen. Even as a child, Rockefeller obsessed over money. He raised turkeys. He loaned small amounts of money to neighbors. He carefully recorded every penny earned and spent. Most children played games. Rockefeller kept accounting books. Years later, he would say, "I always tried to turn every disaster into an opportunity." The mindset was already forming. The Rockefeller family eventually settled in Cleveland, Ohio. At 16 years old, John began searching for work. He walked door to door looking for employment. For weeks, he was rejected. Finally, he secured a position as an assistant bookkeeper. The experience changed his life. He learned accounting, cost control, supply chains, and business operations. Most importantly, he learned exactly where money was wasted. Rockefeller quickly became obsessed with efficiency. He wasn't an inventor. He wasn't a scientist. His talent was organization. He could see profits hidden where others saw chaos. By age 20, he had entered business for himself. Then, a discovery in Pennsylvania would change everything: oil. In 1859, the first successful commercial oil well transformed America. Suddenly, everyone wanted in. Oil promised fortunes. Thousands rushed into the industry, but there was one problem. The industry was complete chaos. Oil prices fluctuated wildly. Production was inconsistent. Refineries appeared overnight and disappeared just as quickly. Many entrepreneurs focused on drilling. Rockefeller focused elsewhere: refining. He realized refining oil into useful products like kerosene could be far more profitable than searching for oil itself. While others gambled, Rockefeller built systems. While others chased wells, he built infrastructure. It was a decision that would make him rich beyond imagination. In 1870, Rockefeller founded Standard Oil. At first, it was just another refining company. Soon it became something very different. Rockefeller pursued a strategy unlike anything America had seen. He bought competitors. If owners refused to sell, he often undercut prices until they struggled financially. Then he offered to buy them again. Many accepted, not because they wanted to, because they felt they had no choice. Rockefeller wasn't interested in competing. He wanted control. He also negotiated secret deals with railroads. Railroads gave Standard Oil discounted shipping rates. Competitors paid more. Standard Oil paid less. This gave Rockefeller an enormous advantage. The savings could then be used to lower prices even further. A cycle emerged: lower costs, lower prices, more market share, and more acquisitions. Again and again, year after year, Standard Oil grew. By the 1880s, Standard Oil had become one of the most powerful corporations in the world. At its peak, it controlled roughly 90% of American oil refining. This wasn't just a successful company, it was a monopoly. A monopoly exists when one company dominates an industry so completely that meaningful competition becomes nearly impossible. Rockefeller's control extended far beyond refineries. Standard Oil owned pipelines, storage facilities, tank cars, distribution networks, and marketing operations. Every step of the oil business increasingly fell under Standard Oil's influence. Rockefeller called it efficiency. Critics called it domination. Small refiners found it nearly impossible to compete. Many accused Standard Oil of predatory pricing, secret agreements, and market manipulation. Investigative journalists began exposing the company's practices. The most famous was Ida Tarbell. Her groundbreaking investigation revealed how Standard Oil had crushed competitors and amassed power. The public was shocked. For the first time, many Americans began questioning whether any corporation should possess so much influence. Despite the controversy, Rockefeller transformed the oil industry forever. Before Standard Oil, waste was common, quality varied dramatically, and prices were unstable. After Standard Oil, refining became more efficient, product quality improved, distribution became nationwide, and costs fell significantly. Rockefeller believed every byproduct had value. If a refinery produced waste, he searched for ways to sell it. Lubricants, paraffin wax, petroleum jelly. Nothing was ignored. This obsession with efficiency helped establish the foundations of the modern energy industry. Many of the business practices used by major corporations today, vertical integration, economies of scale, and centralized management, were perfected by Standard Oil. The question remains, did Rockefeller improve the industry or simply dominate it? The answer depends on who you ask. As public pressure grew, the federal government took action. In 1890, the United States passed the Sherman Antitrust Act. The law targeted monopolies and anti-competitive behavior. For years, Standard Oil remained powerful, but the pressure continued building. Finally, in 1911, the Standard Oil Co. of New Jersey v. United States decision changed everything. The Supreme Court ruled that Standard Oil violated antitrust laws. The company would be broken apart into dozens of separate businesses. Ironically, Rockefeller became even wealthier. He owned large shares in the new companies. As they grew, so did his fortune. Many future oil giants emerged from Standard Oil's breakup, including companies that would eventually become parts of major energy corporations still operating today. John D. Rockefeller's story is one of contradictions. He was a disciplined accountant who became history's richest businessman, a devout churchgoer who built a ruthless monopoly, a philanthropist who gave away vast sums of money, and a titan whose business methods helped spark modern antitrust law. Without Rockefeller, the oil industry would likely have developed very differently. Without Standard Oil, modern corporate America might look very different as well. The boy who counted pennies became a man who controlled an empire. And more than a century later, the debate continues. Was John D. Rockefeller a visionary, or was he a monopolist who gained too much power? Perhaps he was both. The story of John D. Rockefeller isn't just about oil. It's about power. And what happens when one person acquires more of it than almost anyone else in history?